Okay, so like you saw in the thumbnail, we are going to make a little doghouse for Toto. Now, I had forgotten about that doghouse, and I was looking through pictures of the Wizard of Oz, trying to get ideas of what to do. And then I saw the doghouse sitting there, and I thought, oh, yay, I can, work on that because again, I'm not in the mood to work on the house since I don't have all the stuff for it. I always have to have everything together, ready to go before I can start something. So, since I'm still trying to get stuff together for the house, we'll just work on Toto's little house. And I'm just going to use little pieces of foam board. I'm just going to show the materials that I've got. This is some sort of little cardboard, kind of like a cereal box. It's just real flexible. You can curve it real pretty. It curves easily, so that will create the roof of the doghouse like you saw in the picture. And I'll try to post that picture again. But this just curves really pretty, and that'll make a good roof. And let me find one thing real quick. I have this fabric, which I think is going to work really good for the top of it. Um, so let me see. What do I want to do first? I think this is all of it. I'm just going to basically make a little frame, like frame it out with this. Now, obviously, it's not going to be that big of a doghouse. I need to probably like cut these in half, just enough for him to lay in. But I just cut a bunch of them because I didn't know how many pieces I'd need. But I'm just basically going to build a little frame around here, but just make it to fit him. And I'm going to cut all those out. So I've decided to make those 2.5 inches long. And I haven't decided how tall to make that yet. So I'll just cut out 8. I guess I need 8 pieces. No, what am I doing? I don't need 8 pieces of this. What am I doing? 4. I just need 4 of these. We might get this made. Who knows? With my way of doing things, it just takes a little bit. Okay, let me see. 4. I don't make like beautiful, perfect cuts, especially when there's a camera right in my face and I'm trying to reach around it. Okay, so to give you the idea, there's the bottom pieces. They will go up like this. And then we need to up here above it. And then we need to decide how tall to make it. And I'm going to just make that part of it and then stand this one on top and decide where to cut that. I'm going to say right wherever this is. Okay, so let me get this back a little further. So the house will be built, stand it up on its side, put this little piece here, and then put the other piece across there. And of course, we'll just create this little frame. And to secure these together, I'm going to glue it with my tacky glue, just like that. But I'm also going to, like I do with everything, I'm going to push that little stick pin down in there just to help hold it too. But of course, I'm going to put it together better than what I've just done it. I'm just giving an example. But using that like a nail, I just love doing that. I do that with everything I make now. So let me cut these parts out and I'll make the 2 frames that I'm trying to get. So I got those frames built, and then I have connected those with two little pieces in between the two, and on the front I just put one because he has to have a way to get in. So I've left the bottom open, and so that's just basically all I'm going to do for it. Now the only thing I need to do, of course, is put the sides on it and a top, and that is just going to be out of this little thin cardboard. I'm just going to trace it out and cut out the little square. I'm going to do that for both sides, and probably put a piece on the front and of course on the back. And then I'm thinking it would be best to make the top of it, or the two sides and the top, one long piece. Just kind of make it one long piece that can kind of fold over, so I don't have to make the top separate. So I'm going to cut out a strip and then just bring it over and fold it around. Okay, so there I've got the front on it and I've got the back on it. And like I was trying to explain with the sides, I've just made one long piece that I've kind of rounded, and I'm just going to glue that down and then bring it over and glue it, and that'll give me the little doghouse shape that I want. And then I think I'm just going to leave the bottom off of it. I don't think I'm going to make a bottom for it, because it can just be the floor, and you can put like a little blanket in there or whatever. But once I get this glued down, I'll just have to get it painted and then cover the top of it with the fabric. I think the fabric is so similar. Now, of course, in the picture, Toto's has little hearts scattered around, where this one has little flowers scattered around. But I think the design of that fabric is really similar, and the scale is really good. So I'm just going to glue this part down and get it painted. And earlier I said I don't, cut stuff perfect, and you can actually tell this piece is cut crooked, and I should start taking more time to cut my pieces because it's not very square. That would this side looks prettier, but especially this piece right here, you can just tell that's not cut straight up and down. That would drive some of you crazy. It's kind of driving me crazy, and I've learned my lesson on this piece. You always want to make sure your pieces are cut perfect. It looks okay looking down through there. It's not too bad. It's just not perfectly square, and it does kind of bother me. And next time I'm going to cut stuff a lot prettier. But anyway, this is still looking good. It sits level, so you're not going to see some of them sloppy cuts that I do once this is all put over it. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out, that cutting things off will just, if you don't cut them good, it can make a major difference, and not in a good way, because your things just won't line up, especially if you're doing doors and windows and stuff. You got to really take time to cut stuff. But I'm just kind of rushing today and not really taking my time. But it's not a big deal. I mean, that one little thing, it can be fixed easy. So anyways, I'm gonna get this painted up and then come back and figure out how I'm going to cover the front, because it's supposed to be gathered somehow here, and I'm going to have to figure out how to gather that, check out the picture and sort of come up with something. Alright, so I've got that painted, and it's not, let me see, it's not completely dry on the inside, but I won't be touching the inside. So what I've done is I've cut a little piece of fabric. This one is a little too short. It doesn't go down as far as I want it to. I want it to come all the way down to like almost halfway down the side. So I had to recut that, made a much longer one, and now it comes down to about where I wanted it to be. And I've made this way longer than the house. So I'm going to just kind of center that about in the middle, and I guess I'm just going to sew it, just hand sew it. I hope I've got it long enough. I'm just going to kind of hand sew that right there. And honestly, I still don't even know that I've got that long enough, because I want it to gather a certain way, but I have no idea. What I really need to do, okay, I figure out what I got to do. We got to make sure that the top folds all the way down to the door like that. That's what I'm needing to do, so that when I gather it, it just gathers the right way. And what is the right way? I don't know. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm just going by how it looks in the picture. Now, that looks rough and horrible. But once I put a little stitch, I'm just going to go straight across here with a stitch. And then I'm just going to pull that and draw it together, like tighten it together. And then it'll have the perfect little gather. And I'm going to do the same to the back. Just run a stitch across there, pull it, and it'll just make a pretty gather. And then I'm just going to glue it all down. I may go ahead and stitch it first. I don't know if I want to stitch it first or glue the sides down. I think it would be easier to just glue this down first and then just go across there with the stitch. So that's what I'll do. But I just want to make sure I have it right in the center to where I have the same amount, I guess, on each side. Or at least get the front to looking perfect. See, if I pull that up to where that comes to the top of the door, I just got to make sure it does sort of the same back here to hide that hole. And I think it'll work. So I'm going to do that and see what happens. Alright, so I've done the front of it, but that is exactly what I needed to do. Just go across there with a stitch, and then, let me see here. You just want to pull it, and you can see it gathering that together. And then you can just sort of pull it around. You got to just fiddle with it a little bit. But you just want to pull that string tight and get it the way you want it. But that is exactly all you have to do to draw that in together. And you can go as tight as you want. I'm going to go all the way in. It's almost like making a yo-yo. Like if you know what a yo-yo quilt is. It's basically the same step as making a yo-yo. And so that's all I'm going to do with it. Just that, like that, sort of. And I'll just kind of tweak it and, gather it a little bit how I want it. I can take my little tweezers and just sort of pull it and tug it where I want to. And then just pull that tight. And then just knot that off. And then that's kind of how I've done the front. It don't look that great, really. But again, I can just sort of tweak it. I feel like it should have came straight across. And it may be a little bit low, but I think the overall look is going to be pretty cute. I'm happy with it. And I'll still fiddle and tweak it a little bit out here. But it looks pretty much like how it should. And I'm just going to get it exactly the way I want it. And then actually probably go back behind here with a little bit of glue, just so that stitch don't come undone ever. And I'll fiddle with this a little bit more. And then the only other thing I've got to do is write Toto's name right here in cursive. And I'll probably just do that with a little acrylic paint and my tiny paintbrush. But get those done and we'll check out how that looks. Ta-da! There it is. I think it's turned out so cute. Now, as it comes around, you'll see what's on the other side. I had a little something that I added to it. Of course, I've added Toto, but there's something else around here coming up that I thought was super cute. It's just something I had, and then I just remembered it as I was making this. Boop, there it is. It's a little dog bone. That's actually to a Lego set. I don't know what Lego set it goes to, but I just thought it was perfect scale for the dog. I just love how this has turned out. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet is I actually had a doghouse that was made the same way as this. I've actually had two through the years. One of them I had made myself, like for my actual dog. And then it was kind of too big, so I got rid of that. And then I ended up finding one made the same exact way, like you see here. Of course, in like real size, not miniature. But I had found it, I think, at a yard sale or an estate sale. But I don't have either one of those life size ones anymore. I think I threw one away, and the other one I gave away. Maybe I can't remember what I'd done with it. But anyway, I do have pictures of them. Um, so anyways, this is Toto's little house. I can't wait to actually get it put in to Dorothy's house next to her bed. You know, that's something I'm going to start working on pretty soon, is Dorothy's bed and some of the furniture pieces for the house. Which is just so weird that I'm making all these little accessories and I don't even have the house done. So I'm doing it kind of backwards from how I did the Hocus Pocus house. But anyway, I'm so excited with how this piece has turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please follow and subscribe, or whatever. Follow and subscribe. That's kind of the same thing. Subscribe, and whatever you do to YouTube, do it to my videos. If you like to see more miniatures in the future, or especially if you like the Wizard of Oz, you'll want to keep up with this project. And so just even leave a comment if you think of anything that I should make coming up for Dorothy's. And so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.